What's up guys, welcome to the channel or welcome back to the channel. Today I have got a great video for you. I'm going to be giving you my 2025 update for Pleasant Hill, California, the pros, the cons, everything that you need to know. Let's jump right in and check it out. All right, so the first thing that I want to jump into for Pleasant Hill is its location and its proximity to other parts of the Bay Area, as well as some of the areas that you might like to go to that are a little bit outside of the Bay Area that are great for weekends, fun things to do. So let's start there. Pleasant Hill is located just north of the intersection of Highway 24 and Highway 680, and this makes Pleasant Hill very desirable just for that because of its kind of centralized location in Contra Costa County in the East Bay. So starting off with Pleasant Hill's accessibility to the major employment hubs within the Bay Area. So if you need to commute into Oakland, if that's where your work or your employment takes you, you're about a 20 to 25 minute drive depending upon where you're going in Oakland, and that is usually during the commute times. So it's a very easy and convenient commute for people. Now, if you need to go out to San Francisco, if that's where your employment takes you, you are going to look at a bit longer of a commute time. You're probably looking from anywhere from about 45 minutes if you're not in a lot of traffic, anywhere to maybe an hour and 15 or an hour and 30 minutes if the traffic is more heavy. So people that are living in Pleasant Hill that are making that commute out to San Francisco find it very reasonable. Now, if your employment takes you south down into San Ramon, Dublin, Pleasanton, down into that area, you're looking at probably about a 25 to 30 minute drive, and that would be around the traffic or the commute times in the morning. And so from Pleasant Hill, you still have a very reasonable commute heading south. Now, if you need to get a bit further south, whether you're going into Fremont or into San Jose, you are going to look at a much longer commute because the traffic gets very heavy going down that direction. So you're going to be looking at least an hour minimum, and it will go up from there. And it would be very common for the commute time there to be an hour and a half, just because there's just so many people commuting down in that direction, especially in the mornings, and then in the afternoons, you're going to hit some heavy traffic coming back that way. So going down to Fremont or to San Jose, Pleasant Hill is a little bit less convenient and a little bit less centrally located. But if your commute is taking you into any of the other employment hubs that I mentioned, whether that's the San Ramon, Dublin, Pleasanton, or Oakland, or San Francisco, Pleasant Hill has very reasonable commutes and is much more centrally located. Now, if you're looking to take mass transit for your commute, specifically the BART train, you are going to have some adjustments as far as commute times go. So starting with Oakland, the commute time on the BART train to Oakland is actually very similar to the drive. You're looking at probably, again, 20-25 minutes depending upon which stop you're going to get off at. And then into San Francisco, you are going to be looking at about a 45 to 50 minute BART ride, again depending upon which stop that you are getting at. And so using the BART train can be a very kind of convenient and easy way to get to those major employment hubs. Now, if you are getting down into San Ramon, Dublin, and Pleasanton, there isn't direct BART access from Pleasant Hill heading down south that way, and so you're really going to be more stuck in the car and driving if you're heading south. And so that's just something to call out, that there is not direct BART access that way. Now, as far as BART goes, Pleasant Hill does have its own BART station. Pretty much from anywhere in Pleasant Hill, you can be at that BART station in 5 to 10 minutes at the very most. It's a very well-maintained BART station. Parking is pretty easy, and because you're on one of the earlier stops for that transit line, usually you can find a spot to sit on the BART station, whereas if you're getting on the BART station in Walnut Creek or Lafayette, usually you're going to be standing if you're commuting into Oakland or to San Francisco. And so taking the BART train from Pleasant Hill definitely has a lot of benefits to it. Okay, so the last thing I want to cover as far as Pleasant Hill's location go is its proximity to kind of the amenities, the features, the fun things that you would do around the Bay Area. And I already mentioned driving into San Francisco, whether you're going there for a dinner on date night, you're going to the beach, or you're going to see a show or a ball game, whatever you're doing, again, you're still looking at about a 45 minute drive, and that would be on non-traffic hours. It will be a bit longer during traffic hours if you're trying to get in there for something fun during those commute hours. But again, San Francisco is very accessible, and it's a place that a lot of people love to go to on the weekends or for date nights or for events and activities, and so makes it really accessible and really easy for Pleasant Hill. Now, if you want to go north into Napa or Sonoma for some wine tasting, weekend away in wine country, you're looking at about a 30 minute drive into Napa and probably about a 45 minute drive into Sonoma. So again, it's very easy. You could easily do a day trip. People do that all the time, going into wine country from this part of the Bay Area in Contra Costa County, and it's also great for weekends. Now, if you're looking to get out into the mountains, whether you're looking to do some snowboarding or spend the day on the lake at Lake Tahoe, you're looking at about a 2.5 to 3 hour drive up there. You can definitely do it as a day trip. I've done that many times, going up, leaving at 6 a.m., getting there by 9 a.m., doing a day of snowboarding. You're back in the car around 5 and you're home by 8 or 9 o'clock. And so you can definitely do a day trip, but of course, going to Lake Tahoe for a weekend or a long weekend is very, very common for people, and it's very accessible with, like I said, about a 2.5 to 3 hour drive up to Tahoe. Now, more locally, if you are looking to do outdoor activities, you're about a 15-minute drive to Mount Diablo State Park, which is an amazing, beautiful park that you can do hiking, biking, camping, lots of different activities that you can do at Mount Diablo State Park. And to get to one of the entrances, specifically the North Gate entrance, which is in Walnut Creek, like I said, you're looking at about a 10 or a 15-minute ride. You are also very close to Briones Regional Park, and so again, if you're looking to get out, for a hike up in the foothills, Briones Regional Park is a great option, and you're maybe 5 or 10 minutes from there as well. And so you do have easy access here in Pleasant Hill to lots of great, kind of amenities and outdoor things. A couple more that I will call out is Lafayette Reservoir if you want to do some fishing. They also have an amazing trail that goes around the Lafayette Reservoir. It's about a 3-mile trail. You will absolutely see people out there walking, jogging, get the dog out there as well. And so that's a very common place for people to go on a weekend morning or something like that. And that's, again, maybe 15 minutes from Pleasant Hill. And then the last thing that I will call out is there are lots of actual paved trails throughout Pleasant Hill, and specifically like the Iron Horse Trail and a few others that you can easily access from most neighborhoods. And so again, if you're just looking to get out for, a quick jog or a little bit of exercise and you want to get onto a trail, you can easily do that from most neighborhoods. All right, the next thing I want to dive into is the housing, because I obviously get asked about housing all the time. What are your options? What are the price points? What can you get in Pleasant Hill? What type of homes? And so let's talk about that. So right now, as of the recording of this video in October 2025, we do have about 2 months of inventory, maybe a little bit more than that. The median price point here in Pleasant Hill has crept up from last year to this year, and it's about $1.15 million. So just, call it just under $1.2 million for a single family home in most neighborhoods in Pleasant Hill. There are some homes that you can get a bit lower than that in some neighborhoods, but not a whole lot, and it's really not that much lower. And the price point does go up from there. You commonly see, $1.5 million homes, and they do go up into about the $2 million range, especially when you get into Poets Corner, which, there's tons of desirable neighborhoods here in Pleasant Hill, but Poets Corner tends to be the one that's most highly sought after, and that's where you're going to see the price point for properties be a bit higher than they would in some of the other neighborhoods. And so you want to have that on your radar. Now, there are also townhomes and condos that you can get in Pleasant Hill. There's not a, kind of a large inventory of those types of properties. It is mostly single family homes, but the ones that you can get are oftentimes close to the downtown Pleasant Hill, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. And the price point for the townhomes and the condos kind of range. For condos, maybe like the $500,000 to $600,000 range, and then the townhomes are about $600,000 to $700,000. Now, there will be some variation in there, but that'll just kind of give you a rough idea of sort of a range of prices for condos and townhomes. But as I said, Pleasant Hill is primarily single family homes. Now, one of the things related to housing that I do want to touch on are the neighborhoods and the community. Now, one of the reasons why Pleasant Hill has become so highly sought after over the last, call it 5 to 10 years is because it has such a reputation for being very family friendly and very community oriented. And when my wife and I moved out of San Francisco to the East Bay, and I grew up out in this part of the Bay Area, we definitely had our sights set on Pleasant Hill. One, because there were a lot of couples and families that were moving to Pleasant Hill, but also because it had that reputation of being such a tight-knit community and family friendly. And as soon as we had moved here, we definitely felt that the neighbors were very welcoming. The neighborhoods were beautiful. It was just such a tight-knit community where people really have the opportunity to get to know each other, get to know your neighbors, spend time with your neighbors. We definitely felt that when we got out into this area. Now, for some people, having such tight-knit neighborhoods neighborhoods and tight-knit community might actually be a con for them, because they may feel like, hey, we would like a little bit more privacy or be able to separate ourselves a little bit from the neighbors. So that's just one thing you'll want to have on your radar, is you could certainly have your privacy if you don't want to engage with the neighbors, by any means. So a couple of the neighborhoods that I do want to call out for people, and as I mentioned in the housing, number one is Poets Corner. Like I said, that's usually the most highly sought after neighborhood in Pleasant Hill. It is one of the most family friendly. It is one of the most community oriented. It is a place where you will absolutely have the opportunity to get to know your neighbors. Now, the types of homes that you will find in Poets Corner are mostly single-story ranch-style homes. A lot of them are 3-bed, 2-bath. The square footage does vary, and a lot of these homes have been remodeled over the years. They've also been expanded on, and so we've seen the square footages and the footprints of these properties get bigger over time, and there's lots of beautiful homes and tree-lined streets, and it's just a really great community and a great area. But the other nice thing that you get are good-sized lots, and so if you are looking to have a front yard, backyard, place for you to stretch your legs, place for the kids to play, you'll definitely find that in Poets Corner. Now, the other neighborhood that is very similar to Poets Corner is called Gregory Gardens. Now, Gregory Gardens has very similar style homes and properties, a lot of ranch style homes. The properties there are smaller. Now, some of them have been remodeled and expanded over time, not quite as much as Poets Corner, but Gregory Gardens is an amazing option. It's very family friendly, very tight-knit community. They got lots of cool things that go on in that neighborhood, and it's a bit bigger neighborhood, but one of the reasons why people also like that neighborhood, if they feel a little bit priced out in Poets Corner, is that the price point for Gregory Gardens is just a little bit more of an entry-level pricing, and that's where you're going to find properties most often between, call it $900,000 and $1.3 million, but I would say it's very common and very often that you will find properties there around $1.1 million. Now, just another neighborhood to have on your radar is the Hillside neighborhood. It's very close to Poets Corner and does kind of run a bit closer to Gregory Gardens as well, but this neighborhood kind of runs up in the hills a little bit as it approaches Lafayette. There you're going to find bigger homes. They're 2-story homes. They're also on good lot sizes, just like Poets Corner and Gregory Gardens, so you are going to have some nice land to go with your home, but that's where you are going to find some bigger homes. Price point there is around 1.5 million. And so just calling out a couple neighborhoods. There are some others, and if you ever have any questions about any of the neighborhoods, just reach out to me. I can call out a few additional neighborhoods for you, depending upon what you're looking for and what your criteria is. But like I said, I just want to give you a little bit of a lay of the land of some of the neighborhoods that are here in Pleasant Hill. All right, before we jump into the rest of the video, I want to take a quick second to introduce myself. My name is Adam Dobrinich, local real estate agent here in the East Bay. As much as I love making these videos for you, I would love even more to be able to help you with your real estate needs, buying or selling. That number that's popping up below, I do answer all of my own phone calls, emails, text messages. You will get me on the phone. Please let me know if I can be a resource for you. With that being said, let's jump right back into the video. All right, so let's shift gears real quick and talk about the schools, because again, I get asked about schools very often, and as I say in all my videos, real estate agents were really not allowed to comment on specific schools, specific ratings, things along those lines. We're just not allowed to do that because it's so subjective. What I can say about the schools when we compare it to other cities is that the school ratings for Pleasant Hill are pretty good. They are not quite as good as cities like Lafayette, Walnut Creek, Alamo, kind of some of those surrounding cities where you will find like the average rating for the schools are a bit higher. But Pleasant Hill still does have pretty good ratings for the schools, and what I have seen over the last few years is that those ratings continue to tick up. And one of the reasons for that is I feel like a lot of the parents, a lot of people that have moved here over the last 5 to 10 years have been investing more time, more effort, more fundraising into the schools, and what we've seen is that the schools have continued to get better and better. But do your own research, use the resources that are available to you. Go to websites like greatschools.org, niche.com, Neighborhood Scout. They have a lot of really great information about the schools, what the ratings are, what the schools have to offer, and so those will be really good resources for you to do your own due diligence and just make sure that the schools have what you're looking for your family. Another one of the reasons why Pleasant Hill has such a great reputation for being very family friendly and very tight-knit communities because the city does an amazing job of hosting events throughout the year. I happen to know a lot of people that work at the Pleasant Hill Parks and Rec, and they just do an amazing job of putting events on throughout the year. The folks that live here in Pleasant Hill love to go to them. Some of the most popular events that Pleasant Hill have are the Concerts by the Lake. That's a series of concerts that they do during the nice warm summer months, and then of course there's the really famous Blues and Brews Festival, which is one of the most popular events that Pleasant Hill have. People from all around the East Bay and all around Contra Costa County definitely go to the Blues and Brews Festival. You definitely want to have that on your radar, if you decide to move to, to this area and specifically into Pleasant Hill. The city of Pleasant Hill also does a great job with their July 4th parade and the fireworks, and then all the way down even to when the baseball season starts. The baseball parade that happens is something that is really pretty amazing, where all the teams get to come out and do a walk, through town and get cheered on by the community. Just another really, really great event. And one more event to call out is the off-the-grid events that are hosted weekly throughout a big portion of the year, and that's where the food trucks come in. They have music. Community loves to go to that. It's a great way to kind of break up your week. It's usually in the middle of the week. I've seen it on Wednesdays. I've seen it on Thursdays. So I don't know exactly which day it is right now at this time, but it's a very fun event. If you're moving out here from San Francisco, you certainly would be familiar with Off the Grid, and they do a really cool job of hosting one of those out this direction as well. Now, one event that I want to call out for Pleasant Hill that is not put on by the city, but is really kind of a testament to how amazing the community is here, is actually Halloween. Now, if you come to Poets Corner for Halloween or Gregory Gardens, you are going to see some of the most unbelievable Halloween decorations anywhere. It's actually tough to drive down the streets in these neighborhoods because there are so many people out trick-or-treating, great costumes. It's just such a really kind of amazing event, as I would call it, Halloween night in Pleasant Hill, where people really go kind of all out for it, like with the great decorations. You hear music playing and people put in a lot of effort for Halloween, and that's, something that everybody, especially the kids, get really excited for. But I definitely kind of had to have that sort of put in here as far as, what I would call an event, that happens here in Pleasant Hill, even though it's not put on by the city or anything like that. But, as I mentioned, it just shows, what a great community there is here in Pleasant Hill. Now, most of the events that the city hosts are near downtown Pleasant Hill, and that's what I wanted to talk about next, was the downtown of Pleasant Hill. Now, the downtown of Pleasant Hill is very small. It's not, it's not a big, large, expansive area compared to the downtown of, let's say, Walnut Creek or even Lafayette, for example. But one of the great things about the downtown part of Pleasant Hill is it's very accessible from all parts of Pleasant Hill, and they have some really great restaurants, some great shops, and movie theater there. And I do want to highlight a few of these because the downtown area of Pleasant Hill, we've seen newer things being added compared to when I recorded my last video for the city. And so the movie theater is still there. It's great that you can catch a movie in downtown Pleasant Hill, but some of the restaurants are really kind of more of the bigger draw, whether it's Zachary's Pizza, Jack's Restaurant. We do have a new brewery that has moved in. It's called Morgan Territory Brewery. Cantina Jack's, which is a new Mexican restaurant, has come in, and there are a few other newer restaurants and other amenities like a Paris Baguette that have come in, over the last year or two. And so I do just want to kind of call out that, the downtown of Pleasant Hill has been adding more and more restaurants, whereas before you would only have had just a few options to, choose from, and more often than not, you would be going to one of the other, cities that are nearby, whether it was Walnut Creek or Lafayette, that had more options for restaurants and shopping. Just want to kind of call that out as, one of the updates for this 2025 video, is that the downtown of Pleasant Hill there's just more restaurants that are there, there's more shopping, and there's some other, additional things that are going to be coming soon. And because downtown Pleasant Hill has the space to grow, we do anticipate that there are going to be some more restaurants and markets and things like that will be coming in there here in the near future. And so I'll update you on those on the next video for next year when I'm updating Pleasant Hill. But the downtown area has gotten much better. There's a lot more options there, and that's something that's certainly great for everybody. All right, so just a couple more things that I want to cover off on for Pleasant Hill. First, despite the fact that the downtown has added more shops and restaurants, and there are a few more places to go, Pleasant Hill is not well known for its nightlife. There is not a whole lot to do here in the evening time. There's not like a lot of bars and things like that. And so what people most often do, and again, even if you're getting a little bit bored with what your options are in downtown Pleasant Hill, you are very close to Walnut Creek. You can get there in about 10 minutes. Lafayette, about the same, 10 minutes. Concord, 5 to 10 minutes. And like I said, Martinez and Danville are a little bit further away, maybe 15 minutes. But you do have very easy access to all of these other locations that can offer you just, more amenities as far as that go. But just have that on your radar that, Pleasant Hill does not have a whole lot of nightlife. All right, we're down to the last topic that I want to cover, which is the weather. And the weather here in Pleasant Hill is beautiful, just like all the other, kind of cities that are here and adjacent in Contra Costa County and the East Bay here. So let's start with the summer. During the summer, you're mostly going to have 90-degree weather, give or take a few degrees. You will have a couple days that will get up into the hundreds during the day. You are going to have tons of beautiful summer nights here where the temperature's in the 70s, maybe a couple in the 80s, but some very, very beautiful summer weather that you are going to get here. But do have on your radar that some of the days can get pretty hot, like I said, up over the hundreds, and so that's just something to keep on your radar. Now during the winter time, the days are going to be in the 50s and 60s for the most part. Those will be kind of the highs. It will get down into the 40s and 30s at night, so it does get pretty chilly during the night in the winter time, and the days are pretty reasonable and pretty manageable. And so you are going to get certainly a contrast between summer and winter. It's not quite as homogeneous as places like San Francisco, where the temperature variation between seasons is not that much. Now, one of the things that I love the most about Pleasant Hill is the transitional seasons of spring and fall. So during the fall, it is one of the absolute best seasons that I have seen anywhere. You get all the changing colors of the trees. The temperatures in September and even October, like right now today, is about 70 degrees during the day, and then it gets into the upper 50s at night. And then in the springtime, where everything's coming back to life, everything is turning green again. The flowers are coming out. You're gonna have very kind of similar weather where it'll be around 70 degrees, 75, and then down into the 50s and 60s at night. So the transitional seasons here are absolutely beautiful and absolutely fantastic. And because of the way that the neighborhoods are here, where there are so many tree-lined streets and you get to see all the changing colors in the leaves, the neighborhoods look really beautiful during the fall. And so, if that's something that you're looking for, you'll definitely get that here in Pleasant Hill. And that's one of the best parts about living out this part of Contra Costa County in the East Bay once you get through the Caldecott Tunnel. And so anywhere that you're out here, whether it's Lafayette, Pleasant Hill, Concord, Walnut Creek, Alamo, Danville, you're going to have very similar weather in any one of those cities. And like I said, it's one of the things that people like the most about living out here. All right, that is everything that I have for you for my 2025 update of Pleasant Hill, pros, cons, and everything that you need to know. As I mentioned before, if I can be a resource for you with any of your real estate needs, again, that number that's popping up below, please feel free to reach out. I would love to help you with your buying or selling needs. With that being said, have a great day, have a great week, and I'll catch you on the next video.